This is The Frozen Promise, written by Barrel Coops. There are stories that drift through the years like old songs, stories of love that lingers, of voices that never quite fade. Tonight's tale comes from a small Yorkshire town where snow falls softly and memory walks beside the living. It is a story about keeping a promise, and how even in the quietest of winters, love can still be heard if you listen closely enough. The Frozen Promise. The town of Haworth shimmered with Christmas cheer, its cobbled streets alive with laughter and light. Lanterns swung from doorways, evergreen garlands draped across windows, and the air carried the mingled scents of snow and chimney smoke. Groups of carolers wove through the lanes, their voices bright against the hush of falling snow. But one voice stood apart. A solitary figure moved through the square, cloaked in dark wool.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay.
His lantern casting a soft amber glow. He sang alone, his tone low and resonant, threaded with sorrow so pure it made strangers stop and listen.
When we were gone astray,
each note lingered in the air like breath on frost. From her window, Margaret Ellison paused mid-stitch. Widowed these 10 years, she had grown used to Christmas as a season of silence. Yet this song, this voice, struck something deep within her, stirring a memory she could not name. The carol singer stopped before her cottage, the snow settling gently on his shoulders. His song shifted to God Rest Ye, Merry Gentlemen.
this blessed babe was born and laid within a manger upon this.
Margaret opened the door, candlelight spilling out across the white path. Your voice, she whispered, her breath trembling. It carries something I can't quite name. The carol singer inclined his head. Songs carry more than joy, he said softly. They carry memory and sometimes secrets. Something in his words tightened the air between them. When he lifted his lantern slightly, its flame quivered as though listening too. May I sing within? Margaret hesitated only a moment, then stepped aside. The cottage was small, warmed by the fire that snapped and hissed in the grate. Margaret set a candle on the table, its flame steady as the carol singer rested his lantern beside the hearth. When he began to sing again the first Noel, the sound filled every corner of the room. It was a familiar hymn, yet not as she remembered. His phrasing, his rhythm, each note carried the ache of another time. The years between seemed to fold in on themselves. For a moment, she was young again, laughing beside a man whose voice once lifted with hers. She opened her eyes sharply. Your song, she said, barely above a whisper. It's too familiar. The carol singer's gaze held hers. Songs echo through the years, he murmured. Sometimes they return to those who have forgotten. Margaret's heart stuttered. Who are you? He did not answer. Instead, he sang another verse, his voice trembling with emotion. Margaret's hand rose to her mouth as the truth unfurled within her. It was his voice she heard. Not the man before her, but the echo of her late husband, Robert, entwined in every note. Her breath caught. You sound like him, she whispered, like Robert. The carol singer's expression softened. Perhaps that is why I have come. The fire crackled quietly between them, the air thick with memory. Margaret could not tell if the room was colder or warmer for it. The carol singer lowered his hood. His face was lined with age, but illuminated by gentleness. That is because I knew him, he said. We sang together, as boys, in the choir at St. Andrews. He taught me the harmonies, the strength behind every word. When he fell ill, he made me promise to keep singing, to carry his voice forward, so that you would never face Christmas in silence." Margaret's lips parted, her tears falling freely now. He made you promise?" The carol singer nodded. "He feared silence more than death. I have sung every year since, across towns and doorsteps, until at last I found my way to yours." Margaret pressed her hand to her chest, her grief and wonder tangled together. "You've carried him all this time." He gave a faint smile. "Only his song, but sometimes song is enough." The fire burned low, its light soft against the walls. Margaret sat quietly, her tears drying on her cheeks. The carol singer's voice lingered in the room like incense, warm, mournful, eternal. "You've kept your promise," she said at last, "and given him back to me, if only for a moment." He lifted his lantern, its flame unwavering. "This is my gift to you, not to replace him, but to remind you that love endures beyond silence. His song is yours still." Margaret rose, her hands trembling as she reached for his. "Then sing with me," she whispered. "Let us keep it together." So they sang, softly at first, then stronger, two voices rising in harmony, weaving Robert's memory through the air. The fire crackled, the snow pressed against the window panes, and the world beyond seemed to hold its breath. Outside, the storm hushed to stillness. Inside, their song became something more than sound, it became a promise renewed. Morning crept over Haworth, pale gold upon the rooftops. The church bells rang, clear and bright, echoing through the frosted streets. Margaret woke to the silence of her cottage, though it no longer felt empty. The warmth of song lingered still, folded into the air like a blessing. She moved to the window. Children laughed in the square. Carol singers gathered once more, their voices bright in the cold. And there, just beyond the crowd, she thought she saw a solitary figure, lantern in hand, turning down the lane. Margaret lit a candle on the sill, its flame steady against the morning light. "Merry Christmas, Robert," she whispered. "Your song is still here." Outside, the music swelled, carrying joy and memory together. Margaret smiled through her tears. For the first time in years, she felt at peace. The promise had been kept, and each Christmas henceforth, she would listen for that voice in the snow, the echo of a love that refused to fade. That was The Frozen Promise, written by Barrel Coops. If you enjoyed this story, please take a moment to tap the bell, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe for more tales like this one. Each week, I'll be sharing stories of hope, love, and memory to bring a little warmth to the winter nights. Thank you for listening, and until next time, keep the promise, keep the song, and have a peaceful Christmas.